Good evening, everybody. It's July 26th, and let's look at why Tesla is still struggling to go higher. So right now we closed at 93 cents, minus 0.35%, closed at 264.35, and post-market we seem to be down by a further 5 cents. Let's look at the chart to understand the context and the patterns that are at play. We have identified 265.32 as an important number at which buyers have been coming in since July 3rd. So if you look at it here, Tesla stock was above 265.32 since July 3rd, and we could not get higher than our downward resistance right here. And then we started caving in right after the earnings call, and we have a hard time staying above 265.32. We don't have enough buyers to push that price higher. So we were below 265.32 on July 20th, on July 21st. This week, Monday, July 24th, we had some buyers that showed up to bring the price up, but they did not last long. So yesterday, we caved back in and closed at 265.28. And now today, we see another attempt here. We see an attempt from the buyers to get the stock higher, but because we have a wick here, they could not succeed and they were squished down. So even though we have a red candle right here, this is not looking super good. On top of that, we have a stochastic at 40. Any move in the stock market, whatever the stock, any move in the stock market needs to have stochastic above 60. This is not what we have right now. So any move up that we see, we should not believe. So let's take a look at the 1 hour chart to understand how this happened during the day. The first hour of the day was not too bad. So we started a little bit lower, but we pushed above 265.32. Next hour, we started pretty much right where we left off, and we came back down. And now we are going sideways and sideways, and we cannot get back over 265.32 yet. We don't see the buyers yet. The buyers are not there yet, and we need the buyers to push the stock up, and they are just not there. If we go back on the daily chart, we have a MACD breakover. So this is when the green line goes lower than the red line. This is an indication that it's bearish. We still have RSI over 50. This is positive in itself. It was below 50 not too long ago, but it became over 50 and it still remains over 50. So this indicator is telling us that this is bullish. And also the MI, which is a long-term indicator that is showing us the longer-term trend. In terms of the longer-term trend, this is still okay for Tesla. If we have a move down because of the lack of buyers, then we can go and reach 240.89. This would be the next stop if we are going down. If we have some buyers that are coming in, then of course, this could change the picture. One thing that's pretty interesting that I need to tell you about RSI, this is an indicator that can show us some divergence. We see that from June 20th to July 18th, RSI made a lower high right here. This was the high here. This was the high here. This is going lower. And the stock was doing the opposite. This was the high here, and this was the high here. So this is a divergence. When we have a divergence like this, the indicator tends to win, because even though Tesla was going a little bit higher, what RSI is measuring is the strength in the stock, and the strength was not there. And lo and behold, we caved into our big downward channel, our big sellers resistance that has been there since November 5th. So what we are seeing here in terms of Tesla is just textbook technical analysis. And by the way, technical analysis is studying the tug of war between the buyers and the sellers. Many people buy and sell stocks in the stock market based on fear, uncertainty, doubt, expectations, based on psychological factors. Also, we have institutions that have their own agenda. And if a mutual fund decides to dump Tesla, they are not going to tell anybody. They are not going to publish that in the news, but we are going to see the effect on the stock chart. This is why on this channel, we are looking at the stock chart, because it shows us the behavior of absolutely everybody. Let's take a look at some Tesla news. So we have a news here. Tesla appears to have shut down Fremont factory for upgrades. Elon Musk had warned that Tesla would have factory shutdowns in Q3 for upgrades. And this is what Elon had said. We continue to target 1.8 million vehicles deliveries this year, although we expect that Q3 production will be a little bit down because we've got some shutdowns for a lot of factory upgrades. So just probably a slight decrease in production in Q3 for global factory upgrades. So maybe this is what is impacting the stock, because people are expecting that the Q3 results won't be as good as the Q2 were. There's a video that you can look at, and it seems like Tesla gates are closed. It seems like there's no activity in terms of cars getting out of the factory and everything. Yeah, the factory seems to be pretty quiet. There are 10,000 people working at the factory, and generally the parking lots are full and there's a ton of activity around the plant. So the fact that this is much quieter right now lends credence to this thesis. Also, a great news, Tesla finally confirms that Supercharger V4 has 350 kilowatt output. That's fantastic because that's the output of Electrify America's charging stations. Tesla did not look like the leader because it had only a maximum of 250 kilowatt of power for the V3 superchargers. But now Tesla is now on par with Electrify America, which are awful chargers, in my opinion. I've tried a few here in Quebec and they don't work well. This is not Tesla news, but I need to talk about this. So Volkswagen Group expands ties in China, investing millions in Xpeng motors to co-develop EVs. We are going to take a look at the stock chart in a few minutes, and this had quite an impact on the stock. So Volkswagen Group looks to supplement its current MAB platform in China with a new partner, Xpeng. So Volkswagen invests $700 million for a 5% stake in Xpeng. So this is a major milestone. The Volkswagen Group is huge. They have a lot of resources. Xpeng, which likes to copy everything that Tesla does, is going to have a lot of backing from Volkswagen. This is going to be very interesting to see what comes out of this. Let's take a look at the VIX. When the VIX is going down, this is good for the stock market as a whole. VIX is coming down. This is great. We are down 0.67, 4.84%, closed at 13.18. This is fantastic. We like this. We are still above 12.04. The floor on the VIX was at around 11.26 before COVID, when everything was going great. We are very close to that number there. If we break 12.64, this is going to mean that the congestion zone pattern, the horizontal pattern, is over, and that we should be going further down. Rivian is showing a lot of strength. The tug of war between the buyers and the sellers was at 23.59 and at 26.91. There was not enough buyers to want to pay higher than 26.91, but now there are buyers that want to get in. It seems like the wave is coming back in. If you are not into Rivian, this is a buy signal. This is the perfect time to buy. Rivian closed at $27.15, up $1.80. That's 7.1%. And post-market, we seem to be up by a further 5 cents. So Rivian, after having given us a buy signal right here, is giving us another buy signal right here. Who knows where this is going? I don't see much obstacles until $40. This could be having a nice run. Xpeng, as I mentioned, look at what happened today. So we are up $4.10. That's 26.69%. Close at 19.46. And post-market, we are even up by a further 16 cents. So this is what happened today. We just opened super high. We had an open at 17.64. And then we went almost as high as $22. And yesterday, we closed at 15.36. That's a tremendous move. I saw that news at 9:40 a.m. this morning. As soon as I saw it, I just jumped into it. But what is really interesting is that Xpeng was into a congestion zone, a tug of war between the buyers and the sellers between 13.53 and 15.23. But that war was won by the buyers right here. So this was our buy signal right here. We had a buy signal At the end of the day, Monday, July 24th, we had a buy signal there. We had everything that we needed. We had stochastic over 60. We had come out of a downward channel way before, and we had broken a first horizontal resistance right here with stochastic over 60. This was the first buy signal that we got. This is the second one that we got on Monday, and lo and behold, this is launching like crazy. I cannot help but think that some people already knew on Monday what was going to happen. Not many people knew because in terms of the volume, it was not that high. Only a few people knew and they started buying a little bit. But that behavior was enough for us to break 1523, which was a previous number that we could not break above. A news always leaks before appearing online. So this is the proof. And in terms of the volume, we had with Xpeng an average volume of 17-18 million per day. And today we have a volume of 138 million. This is the biggest news of the day. We could not predict that Volkswagen would be investing, but we saw that the tug of war was won Monday by the buyers. Draw your own conclusions. NIO, after our buy signal right here on Monday also, when we broke 1131, we had a strange day yesterday. The stock was still pretty high, even though we have a red candle, but look at what is happening today. We are right smack on the bullish channel resistance that is now becoming support. The buyers are just right here and they are not letting that price down. They are buying it up. We closed at 1317, up 1.26. That's 10.58%. This is tremendous. And post-market, we are also up by 10 cents. Go EV stocks, except Tesla. Palantir, this is not looking too good. We are losing buying support right here. We are closing a little bit lower. We are down at 12 cents, 0.73%, closed at 1643. Post-market, we seem to be up by 5 cents. Maybe we are going to recover a little bit. I would need to see a break of 1690, 1715, and even 1780 in order to be convinced that this is going somewhere. This one has a lot of seller's resistance that it needs to break before we can be confident that this is going somewhere. In terms of stochastic is not good enough yet either. We are at 49. Nvidia is not doing too bad. Nvidia is dropping a little bit, so we are down $2.27. That's 0.5%. Closed at 464.52. Post-market, we are down by a further 41 cents. This is a little bit weaker than we could have expected. The good news is that we have not broken our buyer support right here. This is where the buyers come in, and they came into the stock came low here and then was pushed back up. This is why we have a long wick at the bottom right here. This is showing us that we have still buyers. We just need to be a little bit more patient with it. PayPal, the tug of war has not been decided yet. We are still between 71.07 and 75.11. Above 75.11, that's a buy. Below 71.07, that's a sell. Let's look briefly at the stock indices. So Dow Jones is going higher and higher. We are up 0.23%. S&P 500, this is doing great. Pretty much even Steven. NASDAQ Composite, this is going sideways. Gold is showing some strength. It wants to go back above 1541. It did not succeed to close above it today. It tried it during the day, but then the sellers were pushing it back down. This is why we call those red lines seller resistance. It's the sellers that see the price coming and they decide this is a great opportunity to sell, and they sell enough that they are preventing the buyers to get the price higher. Silver, after this little bit of a dip, this is looking pretty good. We are into this congestion zone right here. This is between 841 and 864. Bitcoin is bouncing back a little bit, but because we don't have stochastic over 60 and it's pretty low actually, stochastic is at 24. It's going to take many moves up or a dramatic move before we start believing in that Bitcoin. But at least this green candle is a positive step. Ripple is finding support here on this buying support. We have a nice green candle. So we are up 0.019, closed at 0.7277. US dollar, it's going down a little bit, so we are down 0.23%. As mentioned, any move up without stochastic is not to be believed, and this is exactly what is happening. It's coming back down. Neo battery material, we have stochastic over 60. That's fantastic. And we have broken our downward seller resistance right here. So this is now buyer support. I still would not touch this before we break 40 cents and a half. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you like what I do, you can become a YouTube member. Click on my TradingView affiliate link. I'm going to wish you a great evening. We are going to talk tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you à la prochaine.